All right, week 11. We're back. We've got both dead commissions in the booth today. How's it going, Ryan?
It's going sadly.
Are you?
I was thinking about this video, and you had said something in the past, like, um, when you get out, would love for like that person to join, the following week. And I'm like, honestly, the last thing I want to do is like join, but the sacrifices we make as commissioners. So
Right.
anyway,
I think you
I,
said
I, I
you.
won't bind, I won't bind people who don't want to rehash their sadness on, the weekly video. I get
Right.
it.
But it gives you a chance to for what it's worth, to fight your case or say where your head was at for the rest of the season, even though it didn't work out. But
I mean, I
not
guess.
that
I
you
mean,
want to do that
my
right
my
now.
strategy for the rest of the season was like slowly upgrade and make you know smart cheap pickups, just like everybody else. It's not mind blowing
Right.
strategy. But anyway, we can keep it moving. It's gonna be the fastest video in guillotine history.
It better be. Well, not history. I think we've done 30 before. We've done
Yeah, we have.
but we're looking to stay
Those
under
days
45
have not
today.
been this year. Yeah,
All right. Jonathan Taylor was our top scorer last week. Obviously. Ryan getting
pain
chopped.
for David.
Yeah. What'd you say, David?
Pain for David.
Pain for David. R.I.P. And Walker, you would think with a 48-point score on your team, you'd be the top scoring team this week, and Walker wasn't even in the top 25%. So Jonathan
Good
Taylor was
week.
huge for him,
Good week for the rest of the team to lay an egg.
right? I mean, lay an egg is. I was gonna do the
I'm
math,
like,
and if JT scored 15, he'd still survive. So or 10, he'd still survive. So it wasn't like he needed
right,
that.
right.
He would have been
Yeah.
borderline bottom 25% though. All right, 10th place, 9 teams remain. So by the way, put that into context of now we're used to seeing 10-team leagues. I mean, we've now passed the week where it's 10 teams. Now it's 9, but now you can look at your team in the context of how good a team should be in a 10-team league roughly. Now it should be slightly better with 9 teams. But of course, how this league always goes is some teams are way more loaded than others. So some teams are going to have way worse teams, obviously. All right, two new ones to the Grim Reaper list. Amon Ra and Caleb Williams, both on me and Ryan's eliminated teams over the last 3 weeks.
I mean, Amon Ra is kind of garbage. He did work for both of us. I think we needed him to be
But you
a
mean he's
number one
garbage?
wide
It's
receiver, and
garbage
he
that
was
he's
a
on this
number
list.
10 wide receiver. Yeah, it's garbage that he's on his
I was like,
list.
what do you mean he's
Yes, Caleb.
garbage?
Yeah, this list is garbage. The fact that
Well, here's
Amon
the
Ra
thing:
is in the
people are
same
only going to
category
be
as
on
Travion.
this. Well, yeah, but people are only going to be on this list if they're going to make
Yeah.
starting lineups. So you have to
I
be a
mean,
starting
I get it.
player to get on
I
this
get
list.
it. But I hope nobody is afraid of starting Amon Ra
I don't
because of
think
this.
this slide has resulted in any change in anyone's decision making ever.
No, I don't.
Maybe Mark Andrews
I
last
get it.
year, but
Yeah, yeah. I do get it. I do get it.
Worthy is. I
Uh,
could take him off the list. He's no longer rostered. Everyone else here is rostered actually, and starting to be
Worthy's
honest.
on Jake's team. I
Is
think
he?
Worthy's on
Okay,
Jake's team.
he's not
I don't know if
starting
he's
him.
starting him, but
He is most likely not. But all these people will probably continue to be started. Maybe not the Bills D, or Travion once what's his face is back, Ramondre. But all these other guys, they're probably going to keep getting started. Wandale probably has startability for a few more weeks. I mean, you could keep flexing him. He's not. It's not. He has a very safe floor. He gets a ton of targets, so it's I could see him continue to get started. And now it's Jameis. Maybe you like Jameis. So,
I freaking love Jameis.
dude,
I think
if Slayton's out, who's gonna be?
Theo Johnson.
Okay, I mean,
Seriously.
is it Jalen Hyatt gonna get a bunch of deep balls?
Yeah.
Is it what is it
No,
gonna be?
Wandale is going to be awesome with Jameis. So I feel very good about that.
Yeah. So yeah, this is
Jameis,
our.
for all his flaws, the guy can light up some defenses.
Yep. Absolutely can. Moving on, the top 25% now, just 2 people. We got Ben picking up his first flame of the week, and Jack just adding to the ever growing list of accolades. Average score here of 162. I think Jack just put up the highest score on the season so far with 160 something, and that was up 14% week over week. Bottom 25%, these three: Mitchell getting the trash can, Fleming getting another ice cube, and Ryan getting the chop. Average score of 82. That floor went down a bit, down 7%. As we will see here in the box and whisker. It's a very wide mid-range here with Ryan, Fleming, Mitchell just out here in the bottom, and then Jack and Fleming way above the rest. So yeah, Walker ended up being third, which is not good enough for a Flame anymore. And Walker could have been like down here if JT didn't do what he did. But you pay that money for JT because he can do that. So it makes that's why you do it. All right, new segment. I should have said to start the week. We've got 2 new segments this week. This is the Charmin Ultra Soft Play of the Week. Maybe we won't have one every week. We need something that's worthy to be put on here for me to have it happen. And for sure, it's going to be Jake trying to reverse
How much
jinx.
is Charmin paying you for this sponsored segment? Hopefully big bucks.
I'm getting the big bucks from Charmin. Charmin reached out to me. They heard about this.
Yeah, they wanted to be sponsored.
Yeah.
You wanted. Yeah.
No, they wanted this. They wanted this more than me, honestly. Yeah. They were begging me. But Jake trying to reverse jinx at 1:30 p.m. because none of his studs have 20 points yet. That's got to be an all-time horrible use of the reverse jinx, and it cannot go. We're not just going to let it slide. It's got to be called out. Jake, we can't be doing this. It was 1:30, maybe 1:45.
Here's the problem, Eric. Is
I know Bijan didn't pop off in the morning, but like, come on.
You dignifying this with a shout out in the slide, I think will only further his doing it moving forward.
No, this is shaming. So. This is public shaming, and it's been proven to work. So everyone go shame Jake. It was the worst, the most unreasonable use of the reverse jinx I think I've seen so far this year.
Jack's done some bad ones.
I know Jack has done it too.
I think Jack deserves some shame as well. But yeah,
going forward, he'll get that shame if it's necessary.
Yeah. Good.
All right. I wish I had exact timestamps on these instead of it saying how many days ago it was when I screenshotted it. But anyway, another one, and this is all from your guys' feedback, so I appreciate those of you that give me feedback on like what would be interesting to see. This one's going to be, I think we'll keep doing this going forward. Just look at the waiver wire and the big guys that were bid on and what everyone bid. This is kind of an interesting week to start it on because obviously Jack Potter bid big for Amon-Ra and Saquon and ended up bidding way over what other people were willing to bid. Looks like both Jack and Walker were both trying to get in on this a little bit, but he doubled everyone's bids.
Yeah, I don't hate the bids because he can. Like it doesn't. He gets 2 major upgrades. It's like whether or not you love Saquon, the guy got 22 carries and like at worst he's a flex one in an endgame roster. So there's no doubt that he's endgame, and I think their schedule gets pretty light too. And Amon-Ra obviously is endgame. So he makes 2 major upgrades and like still has a large amount of fab to continue to make more. And the last thing I'll say, obviously Jack, Colston, and Johnny have been pretty careful with how they spend their fab. And if I'm Jack and I really want these 2 guys, Ben is known to just be a loose cannon with how he spends. And so I think there was a world where Ben goes after a Saquon or an Amon-Ra for like almost all of his fab and just kind of figures it out on the back end. He has
28, so he could outbid him.
Yeah. So anyway, I think maybe that's what Jack was thinking. I don't know, but I actually don't hate the bids, even though obviously hindsight's 20/20 and you could have saved a few bucks.
Right.
I don't hate it.
I mean, this reminds me of where I was last year. Like my team was already pretty good. Jack's team was already pretty, or Potter's team was already pretty good, and I was also owning the market in fab, and there was a week where Jamar was on waivers, and I ended up getting him for 15, and that was like perfect. Like I could have spent more, but like 15 felt like I don't think anyone's actually going to go bid crazy right now.
Yeah,
got him. Like so, this is where if he was slightly smarter with these, can't say smarter because you don't know what other people are going to do. But to what we're
Right.
saying, if someone does outbid a 20 or a high teen bid, that's depleting someone's almost their entire fab.
Yeah, and
Um,
I guess the other thing you could say is like Jack didn't need these upgrades, and so it's just kind of like
not to like
if you're
survive
Jack,
right now potentially, like
yeah, like yeah, so he could have scaled back, and you know, I think you kind of have to be okay with like if I miss them, I miss them, and like the prices
yeah,
are going to continue to drop
I
next
think
week.
so. That exactly, and the number of teams there's going to be a waiver wire that's better than just Amon Ra and
Uh,
Saquon coming off
uh,
waivers,
um,
unless
I
Mitchell
don't know.
dies or
I
Fleming
think Fleming
or
too, and I think those are obviously it's guillotine and anything can happen, but I think you're looking at
so
a very
actually,
weak
very
waiver
good
wire
point.
if chalk happens. Yeah,
If the next 2 weeks go Mitchell and Fleming, then yes, you would look back and probably say this was a good call.
yeah,
Maybe because then you get around to the week after that, and it's like you have Jack. Hear me. I think it's not here. I wanted to go to the waiver, the budget slide. I'm just gonna skip to it real fast. When these three are like your top bidders, you also got Ben with 28. So really, these four are like your guys that can spend big. I mean, now Jack Potter has no leverage over these guys. Um,
yeah, but I mean, you can
when
still win a bid. The like,
Yeah, and it'll keep him alive. And honestly, and I've always said, Fab is great, but it's not. It doesn't do you anything until you spend it. So,
yeah,
it's
and I
just we'll
mean,
see.
not to, I don't know, and I think there's still just like an a misunderstanding of how Fab works. I'm not going to call out people. I'm out. They beat me, so that does me no good. But it's just like there's guys that would go for $0 on waivers that people are still paying like decent money for, and I don't get it. So to your point, like Fab, like Jake, I'll call it Jake because Jake had $50 like 2 weeks ago, and he's now down to what 20 something, and it's like
16,
he got yeah, and he got
nothing,
who for
nothing.
Endgame, nothing for Endgame,
Maybe
and
Pickens.
it's
You
like
might like Pickens as a flex end
I
game.
do
Who
like
knows?
Pickens. I no, I do like Pickens. I mean, he's a wide receiver 3, and I think he has a high floor, and they're on one of the best offenses in the NFL. So I did like the Pickens pickup, but before, like even last week, he made a bunch of trades to like upgrade his flexes for guys that he'll have for maybe 2 weeks, and
No,
he
and we
spent a
called that
lot
out
of
last
that.
week. So you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was going to say, even with the Pickens, hard to argue wide receiver 3. You're only spending $8, but I think we kind of see that since CeeDee Lamb came back, he's not
A lot
quite
of that
as
came,
explosive,
yeah, yes. But
but he
I
still gets it.
obviously could have saved a few bucks, but I'm not going to knock Jake for that. I think he's a good player and
Right.
probably end game. So
Yeah. There you go. All right. Tonight, this game, from a fantasy perspective, is going to be pretty uninteresting.
that's doo. Well,
Only
I
one
think
jet.
Pat's D could be awesome. I was very excited with my stashing defenses strategy.
Yeah.
And I think the Jets D was going to be awesome. Or no, what I was saying, Patriots D. Justin Fields is like not thrown for more than 60 yards in like a month aside from the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take out the Bengals, it's probably 6 weeks. So, and the Patriots are the number one defense in fantasy. So, whoever has them, maybe they feel
Who is it?
extra safe if that goes according to plan. Somebody who just picked them up,
I
I
feel like
had
it's
them.
Jack. Why do I feel
Yeah,
like it's
so
Jack?
Jack's going for another star, Flame, and
It is
my
Jack.
hunch is he'll be off to a good start.
Yep. And then I guess all this is really just determining how maybe panicked some people could be. Mitchell has Diggs, so if Diggs doesn't do well, maybe Mitchell panics in some, maybe not panics, but maybe thinks about upgrading somewhere. And Henderson is on Ben's team. If he puts up a dud, then Ben might be thinking about making something happen.
I don't really see there being a world where Henderson is a total dud.
Yeah, I don't either. I think he's finally gotten over the hump a little bit here, but he'll go
They're
right
like
back.
using him
They
for
are.
for whatever reason. They decided to take so long, but
I don't know. That was a head scratcher for me, but
yeah.
Patriots favored by 12.5. That'll be funny. Divisional games, though, they can always end up being weirdly close. We got a kind of another not that exciting game on Monday night, except for that 3 people have 2 players potentially: Jake, Potter, and maybe Walker if Walker starts Trey Tucker. We'll
I
have
They have
he
Cowboys.
is.
So I
He
guess
currently
you
is
could see a
starting him.
world.
I
Yeah,
thought it was. And
I don't hate the play. I don't hate the play.
no. So over under 50.5. You know, Jake has Genty and Pickens. Potter has Bowers and CD. And then Walker would have, this is off the top of my head, Javante and Trey Tucker. And then Ben has Dak. Ferguson, I think that's Jack Colston. So, yeah, Mitchell and Fleming, and that's it. They do not have guys on Monday. So they're going to be done after Sunday as it currently stands. And they're, still the two betting favorites, you could say, to get chopped. So, yeah, we'll see. Could be a fun Monday night. Could be already over by Sunday night. All right, our Week 10 standings are through Week 10. Jack still way at the top. He just passed 1,200 points. He's the only team to do that. Jake over 1,100, and then Walker, Max, Potter, Johnny all over 1,000. Ryan, you had that nice week the week before you got chopped, so it brought you up. So you're still above Ben, Fleming, and then David. We were talking about how it was going to need. We actually, funny enough, last week we said Ben's going to need a crazy week to pass David. And
You got it.
He did have the crazy week and passed David, but Mitchell's still below. So, yep, that's where we're at. 9 people left. And I want to say, going to last year, second place was Huff. He's dead. Third place was Ryan. Dead. Fourth place was me. Dead. Fifth place was James. Dead.
Fleming won. He might be next.
Fleming's the only top 5 player from last year still alive. And Jake was 6th last year. So Fleming and Jake are the two best remaining contenders from last year. So, yeah. Fun little call out. All right, the economy. Yeah, as we kind of already said, it's kind of leveled out now at the top. Jack, Potter, Ben, Johnny, and Ben all looking pretty solid with some spending power. Jake sort of slipping down, but 16, you can still probably lock in another stud. I mean, he can hold off. Jake can probably hold off spending for a good bid here and survive, and then that 16 becomes a lot more valuable. But I don't know if he watches these, but it does feel like he's just lost a sense of the value of Fab at this point, and he's been overspending on not super stud pieces, so we'll see. Walker, 11. His team is kind of right around the middle of the pack at this point, and you can maybe get another stud with 11. And then Mitchell, Fleming, Max with not very much left to work with. 164 left in circulation. Week 11 bye weeks. Not much going on here except for Jonathan Taylor's on bye. You could say Daniel Jones, Pittman, Olave. It's probably where the list stops. Juwan, He's been good, actually, even with Shuck.
Yeah. Fleming needed all of it. Ironically, I feel like we didn't talk about Fleming because A.J. Brown got his 2 and Saquon didn't do anything. But, A.J., how funny would it have been? I mean, A.J. Brown barely got what Fleming needed him to get to pass Mitch.
Seriously.
So he wound up needing all of Juwan's 17.
Yeah. He did. Would have been a hold. He would have been dead if Juwan only put up, I don't know what it was, maybe a lower teen, 12. Would Fleming be dead?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep. And that a lot of that came on one play, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had a 56-yard bomb or something. Yep.
He did. So, yeah, that's that. All right, we're getting into the graphs this week. It's as sort of expected. This is Fantasy Pros versus Sleeper. Mitchell and Fleming at the bottom. Ben, Walker much closer to the middle, but still in the red. Max and Johnny are above the mark for Fantasy Pros, but below average for Sleeper. I mean, it is skewed up. I mean, for Sleeper, if we're looking across the horizontal, 6 of the 9 are left of the middle. So, really, Johnny and Max, if we're looking at the median, they're above the median. Or the Max is the median, Johnny's above it. But, based off how this is being done, it's they're in the yellow. And then Potter, Jake, Jack in the green, as would be expected by a pretty large margin. And I guess mentioned to say that Walker's mostly here because of JT being on bye, but yeah, he's probably maybe here with JT, so that's how much JT makes a difference. Next week, rest of season, Fleming, Mitchell all the way at the bottom. Mitchell actually passed Fleming in rest of season rating. Mitchell had been dead last in rest of season rating for most of the season, most of the last 5 weeks it feels like. But with the addition of Kittle, and he also got Franklin. Not sure if that really affected his rest of season. Probably Kittle was more so the improvement because he's been rolling out Hawkinson for the last 5 weeks, which has not been good. Ben also in the red here. Johnny looking all right this week. Rest of season though, he's 4th to last according to Fantasy Pros. Walker just above average, right about average for rest of season. And this week, and then you got Max, Potter, Jake, Jack way up at the top, as expected. Max is looking pretty good rest of season, is what that is to say, but weekly, pretty much right about average. Fab and position strength, Fleming, Mitchell in the red, and then the guys with spending power but below average strength, Ben and Johnny, and then the opposite, those with not much spending power but already pretty strong, Jake, Walker, Max. Jake and Max about even in terms of team strength, but Jake has more Fab, and Walker kind of in between them, and then Potter and Jack all the way up top, as they've been in every graph here. So how that shakes out, I've got Jack and Potter, and I'm putting Jake up in the solid overall. All have Jake's team is just really strong. I know he's now below the market average of Fab, but I'm going to give him just the nod of just barely sneaking in there. Max, top left, just doesn't have a lot to spend, but is strong. Walker, without JT, I consider putting him in the bottom right, but he was top left, so I wouldn't say he has a promising long-term either because he only has 11 Fab. So for now, for this week with JT on bye, he's in the middle in the who knows. But when JT's back, he probably jumps back up here, assuming he still is little Fab. Johnny has been the model of a solid average team, and he's staying right here.
And he keeps moving up the Fab market because of it.
He is.
So I think Johnny has. I mean, he hasn't even really sweated,
Never.
He's gotten
Johnny's never been on the radar.
And you could check his accolades. I don't think he has a ton of flames either. He just is pretty routinely middle of the pack, and I don't know if he doesn't have guys who just happen to not play in prime time, or he doesn't end up needing crazy prime time performances, but it hasn't screwed him by needing to make panic trades. He could, he's in.
It's been
pretty
really
decent.
Drake May and Josh Jacobs have been just so consistent for him that, and then he has other guys that have been showing up like Marvin Harrison, who's now, by the way, out this week, but some other guys.
But he's got I think he had pretty decent depth too. So his bench. I mean, he's got Jawan Jennings who's going plug and spin. He's been really steady. So good job, Johnny. We haven't kind of flying under the radar, but he's trying to get into that upper tier of contention.
But I mean, honestly, as cool as fun as it is to feel like you're on top, you don't need to be. You just need to not die, and I think he's doing a better job at honestly not dying than some of the people up here. Like Jake's had to sweat a little bit. I mean, if you count last week as him sweating, Johnny's been more steady than that.
Same thing with Potter. It's if anybody wants further evidence of just times you gotta toe the line. It's him not doing anything rash with CD. Allowed him just to be able to, now roll out CD. Obviously, got a gift with Puka, but him.
Imagine if Mitchell still had Puka right now because he didn't need to do that trade.
He did not. He'd be in much better shape. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'd be far above.
No, but it helped.
It would surely help. But it would help. I mean, Puka's essentially guaranteed 15,
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to keep it moving.
Mitchell and Fleming down here. Ben, still going to give him the nod of the questionable long-term. He does have more Fab now, so that does somewhat improve his long-term outlook, but I think just current team status is still below this kind of upper tier, so Ben could be more so just right here, but still to be seen what Ben does with that Fab and how his team looks in a few weeks. All right, Jack's team, another star. He's now got 3 stars, 4 flames, 2 ice cubes, 9 accolades through 10 weeks. Crazy. Achan, Drake London, big scorers last week. He's got Green across the board here. In his starting lineup, he adds in Jalen Warren into his flex 1, and he also stashes Burrow, who just returned to practice, or his 21-day practice window just opened up, and he's eyeing a optimistic Thanksgiving return slash, if not that week, the week after. But Thanksgiving, there's a chance that like the Bengals season is that much on the line, and we need to throw him in on Thanksgiving against the Ravens on Thanksgiving night.
I think I like it too. He has Josh Allen. He definitely doesn't need Joe Burrow, but he also
he has Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Okay, I mean even still, but my point being, he's doing a good job of flipping his, ancillary pieces, for Fab. So he has room on his bench to just like, maybe I'm not gonna play Burrow, but nobody else can play him. And I think
exactly.
that's a totally valid strategy. If we keep the bench small, and if you can afford to use it for that, it's a good strat.
Yeah, I was thinking someone should have picked him up 2 weeks ago, but I guess until like you see that he's actually returning to practice, then no one's going to believe it. I know, Ryan, you didn't think he'd return at all because you thought the Bengals season would be over. There's no reason to try to rush him back, which is somewhat fair.
Well, and the other thing I would say is, if I really wanted to trigger you, I would ask the question: is it possible to be playing much better than Joe Flacco is playing right now?
No, it's not going to trigger me at all. You're right. I don't really know.
Like, what does bringing Burrow back do for you?
Team morale. All I can think of is like team morale. Like I don't know. People love Flacco.
Like, I don't think the offense can get any better.
No,
honestly.
Maybe the running game. I don't know. I mean, Burrow's more mobile. That's it. But I don't know how mobile we're going to want him to be returning from a left foot injury. It does help that it's not a right foot. Like it's not his foot he's loading all of his power from. It's his left foot, which is important as well, but not as important. So I think, but we're probably not going to want Burrow scrambling around much when he comes back. So, meaning we're probably going to run the Joe Flacco offense with Burrow, because obviously the Joe Flacco offense is not banking on Flacco extending plays, whatnot. It's get the ball out fast, run the ball, blah blah blah. So which is why Burrow gets hurt so much, because he extends plays. So I don't know, not to make this a whole Burrow rant, but it'd be nice to see what we do when we plug him into a like quick pass kind of offenses, what I assume we would do on his return. Anyway, yeah, he's gonna stash him. When you're a good team like Jax, you can afford to use a bench or an IR spot on someone like that, and stash him away from other people getting to benefit from him.
Keep moving. Jack's team's awesome.
Yeah, but he does trade. I don't know, the Kittle Franklin trade with Mitchell. I feel like Mitchell got the great, at least for what Mitchell's team is. I think he needed that a lot. He got the huge tight end upgrade, and Franklin's a flex play. Although I don't think he actually is starting him this week. And just for Warren, and Warren's all right. He's a good flex for now, not an endgame player in my opinion. But I don't know. I wasn't sure what. And Mitchell also got a couple bucks from that, which helps because he had 0 after the Warren trade. So
I guess, who's Jack starting at tight end?
Ferguson.
Like, you don't need 2 tight ends, and he doesn't need Franklin. So
he spent $5. $5 on Warren, I guess, is how I look at it. Or unless Jack is playing some deeper game of like, let me help Mitchell's team a little bit. I'm not going to kill my team, but I'm going to help Mitchell's team get a little better so that he can survive longer, because somehow that would benefit him long term. Jack long term, having Mitchell survive. I don't know if Jack was actually.
When's the Oh no, I know. I think I know what he's doing. Warren's on Sunday night, and he's got the Bengals. So
who is
Warren?
Oh, yeah, he can go feast on that one. Just provide some even more security this week if you want to look at it that way. All right, Ben's team.
Or just flip them for a bunch.
Or that.
So many.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. Trade fodder right there.
Yep. All right, Ben's team.
Ben's team. Solid showing. Gibbs popping off. Henderson finally broke out. Seahawks D's been awesome. And now he gets like T off of bye. Kelsey off of bye. So, I mean, he's getting some guys back in the lineup. His team's looking pretty all right this week, I would say. I actually don't have him anywhere on my radar.
Nobody has him on Danger Zone.
No, he has 1 vote, I think. But, yeah, I think this week he's looking good. see how he uses his fab. He trades away Jalen Warren to essentially get Tez and $13. Tez is going to be a solid, seems to continue to be a solid flex. And he also gets Dobbins for $0, but he seems to be potentially hurt. We'll have to see about that. But didn't waste any money.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the jury is. I think he's got obviously very tough matchup this week, and then a bye, and then it gets very easy with Washington, Las Vegas. So if he doesn't go on IR, he is very steady. He gets a ton of volume. He just hasn't gotten a touchdown, which is obviously very frustrating for me.
Season?
But in the last 5 weeks, they don't use him.
Yeah, Harvey seems to take him.
He does, which I think in my mind, I'm kind of he gets so much more usage. It's only a matter of time, but has not come yet. So
yeah. All right, we got to roll. We got 12 minutes. Let's crank them. Walker's team, already mentioned. JT is on bye. He didn't really make any changes this week. He still got Josh Allen and then some decent enough pieces across the board. Does have some tough matchups. Does have some questionable players, injury-wise. DeAndre Swift, I think. Adams and Ladd, all questionable. Dobbs is coming off a bad week. We'll see what happens there. But he has $11 to continue to work with, and we'll see if he can get through this Jonathan Taylor bye. He'll be back to feeling much better having Jonathan Taylor in his lineup. And Johnny's team still being very consistent. So 4th place this week. Ibuka, nice to see him kind of back. Drake May continues to do what he does. Josh Jacobs. We got Judkins. Is this his first week back from? No, he's already played 1 week back from injury. Waddle's another one that's just been solid. Brees,
he's gonna be good again this week.
Oh, and I really like Aaron Jones right now. He just seems to be getting work. He's got him as his flex too, at least on here.
Yep. I like Aaron Jones as well, and I love Gadsden.
And Gadsden, I thought was hurt. Am I wrong? Is he playing this week?
He fully practiced yesterday, so I think he's fine.
Gadsden is in. That was a $0 waiver acquisition, so that's good stuff there. Still has 31 to work with. And yeah, Ryan, no real accolades here. 1 Ice Cube. That was from way earlier in the season, it must have been. All right. Potter's team. Stafford, big week. Honestly, no crazy big scores other than Stafford. I mean, Vidal 17, Marks 15.
Puka, I think, had around 15 too.
Puka was close to that, yeah, just below this. CeeDee Lamb didn't do that, but Bowers had a down week. But now he has Amon-Ra and Saquon. We already talked about the waiver spending there. Spent 46 combined on these 2 guys that he will obviously be staples of his lineup going forward. But Saquon's one that definitely hasn't been playing up to what we thought he would be this year. But if we know what he's still getting the volume, and he's getting the volume.
He's getting the volume. I mean, I'm pissed about it, but he was 1 missed tackle away from busting that. It was only 40 yards, could have been 70. Screen pass for a touchdown.
That would have saved you last week.
It would have saved. Yeah, it would have saved me pretty easily because I think that would have been an extra 10 points right there. But yeah, obviously, he can. I don't think anybody's doubting that he can do it. It's just, got to make it happen. So,
yep. 100%.
I think you'll take 22 carries from a guy named Saquon Barkley every day of the week and hope that he does something with it.
Right. And this is supposed to say BTJ. He also stashed him for whatever that's worth. If he comes back from injury and starts to perform again like he did last year. But yeah, he's looking pretty good for the time being. Potter is. Jake had Olave, big week for him, or I guess big enough. I guess 19 points top score.
He had 1 play.
Jake's top score. I mean, this goes to show. I mean, the strength of Jake's team. I mean, he had a very down week across the board. Generally speaking, McCaffrey didn't have a big game. Bijan didn't have a big game. Lamar didn't have a big game. 17 is just 17. He got a nice 14 from Genty on Thursday, which helps. Now he adds Pickens in. So, I mean, if this is the worst that we'll see from Jake's team, I think that probably bodes well for him going forward. Jamar back from bye as well. So, that's actually a pretty notable thing I didn't say. yet. So yeah, he's looking pretty good now. He's got according to Fantasy Pros, the RB1-1, the number 1 RB2, and the number 1 wide receiver 1, and the number 1 flex 1 with Genty. So really all he's looking to upgrade for late game is probably tight end, defense, and flex 2. But for we're talking Final Four. This is almost a Final Four roster already, other than that. So yeah, moving on. Max. He had McBride and Kyron came in clutch when he needed them, both in the 4 o'clock window. Max was the lowest projected team below Mitchell around that time after the 1 o'clock games, and then McBride and Kyron combined for 44, so that put him right back into safety. And now he gets Rashee Rice back from bye. Who else back from bye? Is that it? It's a big one. I mean, Rashee Rice is very, very consistent right now.
And Mahomes if he wants. But
oh, yeah, Mahomes if he wants against Denver. So
Denver.
Probably not. Herbert's been rolling.
Yeah, Rod Herbert. Guy's been good.
Yeah. Doesn't have much fab, so he didn't spend anything this week, and really won't spend anything unless he somehow gets some fab back. But looking good. Fleming, Goff continues to be his top scorer, seems to be most weeks. It's been nice. Looks like he might be rolling out Rodgers this week. I don't think he actually is, but he picked up Rodgers, and that's what the analytics says is the better choice. Chase Brown off of bye, and that's it, off of bye. He requires Rachaad White in a trade with Jack. That's probably a good thing to have, because we still don't know about Bucky. We do not know. And he has
Sean Tucker's been better. They're using him more. He's getting the touchdowns. I don't love Rachaad, to be honest.
Okay, fair points. I just kind of look at Rachaad as yeah, solid, but never really looked that.
Look at his last few games. He hasn't really done much, and Tucker's getting the touchdowns. So,
does not bode well then for him. But he at least has has someone to start in place of Bucky until Bucky finally comes back.
I'm also just bitter about rolling out. Not that it wound up doing me in, but I rolled out Sean Tucker and he got 0.2, and now they use him and they don't use Rachaad nearly as much. So anyway, gotta keep him moving.
Fleming, I think, is actually starting Pearsall. If Pearsall plays, he's got Pearsall in over Charbonnet. And I know Charbonnet's got the Rams, but Charbonnet has been just awesome, very consistent. So never a bad thing if you have to put in Charbonnet if Pearsall's out. And maybe it's safer to start Charbonnet instead of Pearsall on his first week back, but who knows? We know Pearsall also has the upside, and it's against Arizona. All right, Mitchell getting his first trash can of the year. It took this long. But he scrapes by again. He flips Warren. At first, he sort of overpays for Warren, and then he doesn't even get to start him over DK. But then he trades Warren. Before the week's even over, he trades Warren and gets Kittle and Franklin and $5 from Jack. So I think that was the right move for Mitchell, except for, unless we're thinking about this Warren against the Bengals on Sunday night. Could be a season saver for someone with throwing Warren in there. But we will see. We've got. Is it the Sunday night game? I thought it was 1 p.m. No, it's 1 p.m.
You might be right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I think the Bengals play the Steelers. No, we just.
I think I just assumed that division game would be. But
yeah,
you're right.
It took me long enough to catch it. Yeah, no, it's a 1 o'clock game, but still a good piece to have. So Jack's probably not looking to use him as a trade piece, more so just extra security. Because why not? You can never be too safe.
Yeah. Go for another star.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make your money. That too. Get $6. He's probably already almost.
I think he's 2 away from breaking even. Yep.
You need five stars to get you there. Okay, that's Mitchell's team. He's got $5 to work with now. And Ryan, any last closing remarks? DJ Moore and your Chargers did not get it done.
Yeah, I mean DJ Moore. I think I just drank the Kool-Aid after the Bengals game. I mean, not that the Giants are that much better on defense, but it's kind of one of those things where if DJ Moore gets me 7 against the Bengals, I probably don't start him. But he got me 20, and I'm like, oh, look, they're using him. It worked. Why would they stop? And they stopped. Keenan, I was just wrong about. I'll put my hand up. That's on me. Gadsden picked a bad time to have his first bad game of the season. And he got hurt. So it's kind of just, that'll do it. So Yeah,
At least you
I don't
didn't
know.
die with a lot of fab.
Yeah, I had an offer $1 for Jennings, who I would have used to upgrade Ertz, and I almost took it, but I think
Wow,
like
you would have survived and Fleming would have died, probably.
yes, but I would have I think like when I was about to accept it, I was projected 100, and so I let it ride, and then I had a good 4 o'clock window, and I didn't feel like I needed to make any moves because Keenan and Gadsden and Saquon, I think, scored like a combined 25 below their projections, and so like you know, uh,
It's tough.
the unfortunate situation of it, but you would rather your 1 o'clock guys score below their projections rather than, the last guys you have
100%.
remaining because you can't do
It's
anything
too late.
about that. So yeah. Anyway, kind of a unfortunate way to go, obviously, but um, I don't know. Sad I don't get to play. I don't think I was winning it all with this squad, but I think I could have, you know,
You could have made something
survived the
happen.
next couple weeks. I mean, Pickens, Amon-Ra, and Saquon, and would have had to make some other upgrades, but that right there is a core that's good enough to keep it going for a few weeks. So
Not wrong. Not wrong. Yeah, and I know you've got 2 minutes until you got to run to a meeting. I don't have a meeting, but if you need to hop while I finish up, you can.
I can be
Um,
like a minute late to this one. So
okay, let's just do it then. Power rankings. I didn't change much. These three move up because Ryan died, and I flipped Potter and Walker. I think Potter's looking much better now that he's spent. Although it is nice to have control of the market, but now he's got a really really strong team. And Walker down too. I know I don't. I say I don't base it off of weekly matchups, and the fact that he doesn't have Jonathan Taylor this week does impact this a little bit, but I think this is still like the top tier with Johnny like right in his own tier in the middle. Honestly, borderline moving up to it, but he just hasn't made any like major upgrades in a while. So I think he's still like a step below. And then Ben, I think, is better than Fleming and Mitchell, and then Fleming and Mitchell just the analytics. This isn't necessarily me saying it; it's the analytics. That's where you guys are. So that's where I've got everyone. And the voting this week, Mitchell receiving a whopping 10 votes. If he survives this, he's gonna. I think he'll
wait, no
break.
Fleming?
No Fleming.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, hey, this is your guys' time to change your vote before the game starts tonight. But yeah, Max gets one, Ben's got one, Walker's got two. I think people are trying to see if he can get caught on the JT buy. But yeah, 10. Mitchell's definitely going to break records of most votes received and not getting eliminated if he survives this week. Maybe potentially in league history, because we'll keep doing this each year. But he's got a crazy run going right now. And also, Jack got it right last week. Jack had you dying, Ryan, so Jack's now up to 2.
Yeah.
All right, we did it. Any closing thoughts?
Mm, I'm sad. Enjoy it while it lasts. Every day is a gift. John Rothstein.
Every day is a gift. Yeah, it's I'm excited to see
I
how
was
this all
telling
pans
Eric.
out. Huh?
I was telling Eric, and I care less that I lost. Like, obviously, it's a bummer to not win, but I was like, I think I just like the thing that I'm more sad about is that like I open Sleeper and I'm like, just like source of habit. I'm like, oh, I can't. I have nothing to do here.
Yeah, the leagues that you have there aren't important enough to be doing anything in.
Or just like I mean, just in general, like there's no other leagues where you tinker on a week to week basis, and it just is like an ever evolving, like process.
Yeah.
And you don't have fab to trade. Like there's just so many dynamics to it that make it much more fun. But
Yeah, I
anyway,
think to your point, if I back one before I died, if I could have had the choice right there to say, would you rather have the whatever pot the pot is $400 or $500, or the ability to just play the rest of the season just to enjoy playing? There's a world where I might take the just I'll play. I don't care if the pot's $0. I just want to keep playing, like because it's
yeah,
fun. Although it is a less of a burden, like not a burden, but like I do have more free time now. I will say, uh, which is nice in its own way. It's a little less. I have a lot of fantasy leagues, so it kind of eases the burden a
I'm,
bit. But
I'm curious what my screen time will look like this week, and if
how
that
many
is
hours
stress.
were we averaging on Sleeper a week?
I
5,
don't want to know.
6,
I don't
7?
want to know. Too much. Yeah, probably around there. And I use not that it matters when I need to go, but I use ESPN's like fantasy cast on Sundays because I think it's an easier UI to follow. So like I'm not even on Sleeper on Sundays really, except for like checking in on like
Yeah.
actual matchup scores. I use like fantasy cast on ESPN. So
There you go.
anyway, I gotta run.
Good stuff.
Don't get chopped.
Don't
Bye
get chopped.
everybody.
Have a good week, everybody.